I mean, it's almost practice the way we did the first day. There's a little bit more hitting, but it's not full scrimmage. We build to that. We build to tackle. There's tackle drills. There's some one-on-one blocking drills, but it's still trying to play low, trying to play physical off the ground. So practice didn't dramatically change. I would just say just an overall deal. There's more numbers. There's more. We appear to be in better shape because I don't know if we could have practiced the last 2 days in heat and had a very long, good go today with a lot of energy and a lot of effort. So one guy. I mean, there's a couple nice defensive plays for some turnovers, a couple nice big plays offensively. But just in general, we got a long way to go, but we're a better group. So the group's more impressive. We had a hard go yesterday, and it was hot in a great way, and we got after it, and that was good. And it was consistent all day, and then we came back today, and we had another not great but building good day, and you're seeing some things, hopefully moving in a positive direction because we're building a little bit. It looks like.
With the competition at quarterback, how are you going to handle the live action? Are you going to let them get hit at all? Are you going to keep them safe most of the way? I mean, especially the young guys who haven't played yet, you want to look at.
That's tough because if you got a really good team, you can let them get hit, but they can get hit smart. And when you got some bunch of young guys on defense, guys get out of control, where maybe a guy's, you say it's full going, a guy's diving. So I wouldn't mind them getting roughed up a little bit. Now, actually, we let that happen a little bit, but it's, when guys are getting in legs and ankles and in the lower body injuries. So we'll get them hit, but I don't know if we'll get them just total free go. But we might thump them and get in their face a little bit and hit them, but hit them above the waist and hit them with the ball and make sure they can take care of the ball. So they'll be hit some, but at the same time, and I like the couple young walk-on kids, although they're walk-ons, got a lot of work to do with those guys. But you only got 3, you don't want to go to 2. So there's a fine line there. So it's a great question. We'll hit them. I just don't know if it'll be just an all-out full go assault. You're free kind of deal. We'll probably anytime one of them scrambles and they get going, we'll probably say you're dead there, just so we don't have somebody get rolled up or get a cheap lower body injury.
What are you seeing from Trey, and what do you need to see from Trey?
Well, I think they're all embracing. We're kind of really working hard, and Coach Johns has got them. But sometimes what we'll do, because the way schedule is now, we got them a little bit more, and with no class conflicts where I'm grabbing them some, and we're just trying to talk about, again, number one, just how to talk and act like a quarterback, and then next still how to communicate to the offense what's going on, and then from there, okay, how to find what's happening over here. Where's my problems? Where's my safeties? Where's the blitz issues? Where am I going with the ball? Then from there, what tweaks to make, and finally how to throw it when it's time to throw. So, he's embracing the challenge. He's attacking it, and he's got a lot of work to do. But he's not just, hey, I played a little bit, or I'm supposed to be. No, he's working. And I tell you why, because the other 2 guys are really working. And they're working in meetings, and they're asking questions. And I see a page of notes last night where a guy went out about 8 pages because he's writing everything down. And when it's break time and coaches are meeting, they're coming up there sitting with us, and they're resting watching tape, which I didn't even ask. But one guy came, another guy got wind, next guy came, then they were all there. So Trey's doing well, but they're all pushing themselves. And everywhere I've been where there's a competition, if the egos stay in check, everybody wants it, but if they're teammates, they push each other, and at the end, they're all better for it. Right now, we got a little bit of that. Maybe selfishness and ego comes, but really good players and good teams can check that. But right now, they're pushing themselves, and that's what's helping Trey. Trey's helping Nate. Nate's helping Cam. We're going in circles.
How are you seeing the influence Coach Fabris on the defensive guys? I know that you're not tackling yet. Can you see his impact?
Well, I mean, I don't know if we call it impact, but he's just a very good coach, and then we had a good coach last year. We lost, but we were very fortunate. I think the same thing with Coach Luttrell. So we lost 2, but we got 2 good ones. We've actually added 2 more GAs, and that helps us. So now instead of just having Chris Shula, Brian Haynes that played at Ball State's with us, instead of just having one offensive GA, we've got Carter Whitson and Ryan Stanchek. So we have more coaching going on. It's a new rule change. But those 2 guys, in particular, Seth and John, are doing a great job. John's an outstanding DN coach, coaches with detail, coaches his guys every play. He's a proactive guy, not a reactive guy. He anticipates. His guys are well prepared. He's going to do a great job of special team help too. He's really involved with our return game.
You talked a lot about Ted Bolster, how much better he got in the spring, basically. What was different between him in the spring and what you see now compared to what you had last fall?
More confidence. He still has the inability as a young guy where he can lose his focus real quick and can get distracted and something get to him. And and he has a hard time getting that back. So I'd like to see his ability to concentrate be a little bit better, because he can easily, whether he just makes a mistake or someone, flusters and frustrates him, he can get a little out of whack. And that being said, you can see him kind of spiral and go, south for a little bit, where when that happens to a more mature, real good player, he snaps back. But we put him in position of trying to be a leader. He was very confident. I think he felt more important. I think he felt more significant. And he had a nice spring. He's been okay starting out. I'd like to see him. It's not been bad. I expect him to pick it up a little bit more.
He looks like someone who has benefited from your nutritionist on staff too, and getting his body fat down.
Who's that?
Bolzer.
Yeah, they all. And when you see that field out there, you say, well, that's a little commitment. They built the building or whatever, but the commitment to player welfare. With what we're doing in academic tutoring and mentoring, what we're doing in supplement in nutrition has been awesome. I mean, right now we're fueling our guys up really, really good, and that's not just nutrition with Amy. It's also then Mark, and I think Lionel Anderson has been great. From Lionel is a strength coach we hired, played at Kansas, played in the NFL a couple 3 years, and so he's kind of almost been an extra tight end coach from the weight room perspective. I think that's helped Ted a lot.
From Kenny Mullen's perspective, what do you see from him? What do you need from him?
Well, again, he's going, he's still young, so you want him to step up because he's one of our more natural leaders. But when you're young, you're still, figuring out. We've got him playing instead of nickel, a little bit more corner. Probably going to get him on the field a lot more in normal down, where last year he was like the fifth guy coming in. Right now he's in the mix to maybe be the corner, and between he and Greg Heben, we've got Lawrence Barnett with the situation for a game, but we've got some other guys mixing where, maybe, Heben's the inside guy. Maybe, Heben's outside and one of those other corners come inside, whether it be Treg Waters or Timmy Bennett or somebody like that, or Antonio Marshall. So trying to get Kenny on the field, and he'll be probably pretty big in our kicking game.
Back to Bolzer real quick. With Seth, do you see the tight end becoming a little more involved in the offense?
Well, the thing that we're trying to teach them is if we do what we're supposed to do, like we're talking about Trey and the quarterbacks. If we do what we're supposed to do, we're throwing the ball on time to spaces, and we don't say that's a young receiver and he doesn't know to be there, and you wait for him. Because if you're waiting, you're reacting. If you're reacting, you're late. If you're late, bad things happen. So you got to throw it on time, and guys got to get the spots. So Ted, we're teaching and emphasizing and trying to be a little bit more cleaner pass game. That will maybe hopefully help all of them. And the tight end in a part of progressions is 1, 2, 3 a lot. He's not always just the check down. He's the first read. He's the second read. But if this thing's done right, it wouldn't be one guy having a big year. It would be numbers going where there's 30 and 40 and 50 catches at 3, 4, 5, 6 guys, because that's balance. And sometimes when you say balance, you think it's just running pass. If you're balanced in the passing game, how many times do you throw it to the back? How many times do you throw it to the inside receivers? How many times do you throw it field? Do you throw it boundary? And the balls get distributed like in a basketball game. You see the ball getting inside, getting outside, all that stuff. It's the same deal. So he's going to benefit, but I think a lot of guys will.
Coach, what are you seeing out of your receiving core these first 5 days of practice?
Not very much. They're not very good. It's the worst part of their offense. Next story.
What do they need to do to
Catch the ball, block, play receiver. They need to be better. Has nothing to do with suspensions or who's not here. The guys that left would be not in the mix either. So they need to be a lot better, because that's a part of that quarterback looking good. When you can block them and guys run it, the last thing you got to do is have a guy that can do that. And we got guys that do this good enough. I mean, those guys to be competitive, compete, make plays. And our defense is learning how to play the coverage we want to play, and there's a lot of challenge and competition going on, which is nice. So they're getting, even though you might say we're not the most gifted defense, we're not playing on the air right now. They're having to compete, and they need to step up and compete and be a lot more consistent. And early when you're going through camp and you're building yourself, you got to get your rhythm down. So those guys, they need to not be, and I'm not throwing them on the bus, and I don't call people. I've already taught, they know where they are. So our kids don't read your stuff, right? They better not. All right. No disrespect to the media. They're Facebooking and Twittering. So Twitter them up.
Have they been straight drops, or is it an accuracy thing where the kid should have caught it?
It's competitive place. And we've got to where on air we're getting better, but a competitive place. When it's a challenging play, if you're a good team, Very good offenses, teams that can throw the ball, offensive football teams that throw the ball, receivers make competitive plays. No different than basketball. Anybody can make it, but when it's good, who can break a guy down at the end of the game and make a play? That's what winning teams do in that sport. Who can competitively throw the ball on target? Who can competitively make the competitive challenge catch? And when you're young and growing, that's what you're wanting to see Cody Latimer start to do, or Deweese Wilson start to do, Ted Bolger, because they're capable. And we need those guys to compete. And I'm not down on them. They got a chance to be good. But for us to be where we're going passing game, I expect those guys to really keep coming through. And they need to. And they should. But they better. So I'm not mad at them. But I want to be a heck of a lot better. They need to be. They better be.
Can you talk about your kicking game a little bit?
Well, we're working a ton on it now with the way this Wonder-Days, man. Shoot, we're putting 2 hours a day on kicking between meetings, walk through, and on the field. And we've got to win football games by not breaking even in the kicking game. So today we worked some return unit stuff. You saw that. Tomorrow we'll be doing both cover and return because it's a 2-a-day. We've worked it pretty hard. And matter of fact, I got to go back and maybe work a little bit more field goal because you saw Mitch the other day kick a few. That's probably the one right now. I'm glad you said that because I just caught myself on missing that one. We're a lot of time on coverage. I think Coach Fabris and Coach McCullough are trying to make an impact and return game. But we're spending a lot of time with playing better defense. That starts with a great kick, a great punt. Starting with that for position, we've made a commitment to it. We're not giving it lip service. We're committing time in here on the field. We're committing it to our team. We're selling it to the team. They're embracing it. And at the end, it'll come down to who's the returner and who are the legs that have the skill set to hopefully make the other 10 guys, do well. So kickers look pretty good. Freeland's back. Ewald's back. I'd like to see punters keep being a little bit more consistent. Snappers good. Trying a bunch of young guys in return game. A lot of guys did it last year, and some of the new freshmen, Ricky Jones, some of those guys will be in the mix there too.
You talked a little about Nick Mullins being a young leader. Could Bernard Taylor be one of those guys for you on the offensive line?
Bobby Richardson, defensive line. Bernard Taylor, offensive line. Colin Rory, some of those guys. Those are some of the guys you're grooming. Again, I don't know if we have a strong, no disrespect to David Cooper just got here, or Trey that's your quarterback, or Stephen Houston. I don't know if one guy says, I'm the guy, let's go. We're trying to get a core group of guys to be the guys that, hey, come on, let's go. So Kenny Mullen, we're trying to bring along. We've talked about him a few. Bernard has been put in those positions to help us. And I think, again, he's off to a good start to a career. Physically he's good, but hopefully he'll be a great leader. Anything else? No. Appreciate it, man.
Thanks a lot.